Yeah, so
Oh, amazing. Okay.
welcome back to another episode of Aries and Gems. I'm Aries,
And I'm Gems.
and today we're going to be discussing online dating in 2022. That's the topic.
Okay. Nice topic. Nice
Yeah.
choice.
So we've got our expert relationship coach Gems with us today. Self-proclaimed expert
Wow.
and
Okay.
relationship coach. What do you mean by?
Because it's been put on to me that I'm a relationship expert. People have told me and come to me for advice. Like, I don't go out
No, I've
trying
given
to
you the
give them.
title, so
Yeah.
it's not self-proclaimed by you.
Okay.
Self-proclaimed by Aries. Aries is given the cosign
Okay.
that the Gems is a relationship coach expert.
All right.
So
I'll take it.
the topic of today is about 2022 online dating strategies and advice and how to navigate through a dating market that's becoming saturated and that's becoming a negative experience for a lot of people who don't know how to navigate it,
Yeah.
because a lot of people might be going through, now that it's popular, people might not be aware that there's a lot of pitfalls in online dating. So yeah, we're just here to let people know how to navigate the market, let people know what's going on, what dating life is about, what it's like, how to get success out of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so where do you want to start?
Maybe we start with it. Just like
We
the
should
different
start
apps.
at,
Because online, we're
yeah,
talking relationship apps, aren't we? We're not
yeah,
talking about,
basically.
yeah. And we're talking about the free ones. We're not talking about any of these like elite subscription based ones that.
It can be, because if you want something serious, then you're better off investing.
Yeah, like with anything, but
Yeah.
are you then just going to get someone who.
And I'm not really an expert on this paid subscription ones. I've never been down that road, so
Yeah,
that
nor
might
have
be
I.
your expertise.
No, I've never been on any of them, or.
Yeah. Okay, so where I'll start is, what advice would you give to someone that's just they've hit the crossroads in their dating life, and they want to navigate, they want to get onto this dating thing. What should they do first?
Yeah, so their intention in this case is to look for a partner. They're looking for someone to date and they're serious. Yeah.
Well, not everyone's serious when they
Yeah,
go on a
not
dating
everyone's
app, because
serious.
someone that who isn't serious, we've still got to be able to let them know how to navigate, like how to keep themselves
Yeah.
safe, because they're stepping into a little bit more dangerous territory when they want to be
Yeah.
getting into the dating market and just be casual. Like they might have just left a long-term relationship.
Okay,
And
let's start at the low hanging fruit, which I think is the dating casually, no ties, no strings.
yeah,
So I would say to someone starting out in that regard, when you go on your app store, just delete all the suggested ones. So if they come in different packages, say like you download Bumble and it says, oh, people also may like, go for those ones as well. Like, spread your interest across and create different profiles. Not different profiles, like, oh, I'm someone and this one, I'm someone else here, but like recreate those profiles on different apps. Because I think you get different types of people on these different apps. In my experience, somebody on one app reminds me of a certain type of person, and then
yeah,
so for example, to get into more detail, like on Bumble, I felt like it was very friendly, very chatty, got on with a lot of the guys on there, but then in something like Hinge, it felt very much more career oriented, and it was more focused on what you do for a living, how much you earn, what your aspirations are. It felt very serious, and I even saw a lot of work colleagues that I'd previously known from workplaces on Hinge.
yeah,
So that was the difference for me. And then on Tinder, I didn't spend too long on Tinder, but I've heard that it can be more sexualized. It can be more about, meeting up, just getting to it. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what kind of people, for your own experimentation, like what you attract on these different sites.
yeah. So I'll give the advice to the men, like for the dating apps, the type of people that is on each dating app. So I'll start with POF. That one is more if you just want someone that's got something wrong with them. So there was a lot of mentally ill people, people that had some disorders on or some type of crisis in their life, like their life just isn't going right. That's POF if you want to date someone like that, if you're trying to save a woman and then you're just like, yeah, it's like she's like in a bad situation. Like those type of women are on there. Tinder is a lot sexual if you're like into freaky stuff, and all of that kind of wild meetups where wild things happen. That's more Tinder. And Hinge, yeah, Hinge is career. A lot of career women on there. A lot of women who earn a lot of money, who haven't really got time to date actually. So with on Hinge, you might there's a lot of chat. It's more chat than meetup. Like Tinder is there's not a lot of chat. It's just trying to get to the meetup. But Hinge is like, oh yeah, when do our schedules meet? I'm free in a month. I've got one day off at the end of the month. We could try and make arrange something and get something popping then. Like Hinge is a bit like that. And then what other apps is there? I've never tried Bumble. So what other ones are there? Yeah, but that's the like the kind of
The main
different.
one.
That's the kind of like the range that you can get, like the different types of people
Yeah.
that you can get,
Yeah.
and they seem to gravitate to certain people with certain characters seem to gravitate to
Yeah.
certain apps.
Because I think everyone should start out with as many apps and there are some obscure ones. Don't be afraid of the obscure ones. Like there are ones on there, your app stores which are pertaining to people who like certain pets. There's one, I'll find the name and give you the links to it, but there's one where like you play video games
Yeah,
and you match based on the kind of games you like, and you play like a quick round of like a quiz, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the quiz you can continue the conversation. So it's a bit more interactive in that sense. So they're very like yeah, that whatever kind of niche you're into, whatever, like even if you're into like crafts, I don't know, like wildlife, like there's lots of different dating apps out there. I think that's what's great. And if you are someone who is a bit nervous about dating, say you've got a very like specialist hobby or
Yeah.
something, and you get into a dating app that's around that hobby, you're gonna find someone else in your little world too, and that's
Yeah.
gonna make it a little bit more. That's one less thing to be anxious about, because it's like, oh, we've already hit it off because we both have cats. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. So what strategy would you give someone, a woman that's got onto the app now? What do you think? How do you think she should? Because she's gonna get a lot of messages from men. Like a lot of messages. Like there's gonna be a lot of sick ones where they're just messaging, oh yeah, can I send can I shit in your mouth or something crazy like that.
Wow. Okay.
And then-
We're still talking about the low hanging fruit of the ones that are on there for fun.
I'm just saying I'm just saying how do they navigate, because
Yeah.
they might get on the app and then see that and be like, yeah, this isn't for me. Like the men on here are a bit crazy. Like, do they stick it out? Do they just wait for like someone who seems normal to come through? Like, because there's a lot of weirdos on apps. So
Yeah, but surely the weirdos are just things you filter through, like
yeah,
junk
that's
mail.
what I mean. But
Yeah, it's like-
sometimes the weirdos don't present themselves as weirdos. They at first. So how do you think a woman should navigate?
Yeah, I think you should
trying
have
to-
your. Yeah, I think the navigation begins with understanding what your hard lines are. If you think certain things that are going to be like, not totally red flags, but different checkpoints that are going to be alarming. So my first alarm would be if someone wants to get to the meetup without even really having a conversation for like a day, like the day one that we've matched.
Yeah.
And sometimes the match happens to the at a different point to when you actually start the conversation. So say like day one of the conversation, you're texting back and forth, and then they want to be like, oh, so when am I seeing you? It's like, it's just been a matter of hours.
Yeah.
That's for me a little bit of a alarm. I can understand. I would give it maybe a week before, because when I was on dating apps, I found that I would have time to swipe on the weekends. So that
Yeah.
means the conversations would usually start on the weekend, and then I'd see what their patterns are like during the week. If they have like loads of time, texting me all the time, no breaks in between, it's like, whoa, like, do you not have a job Monday to Friday? Like, why are you messaging me? So that would be like another alarm, because from my perspective, I own and recognize that I'm a career person, and you know, I've got a 9 to 5. So that would be my advice initially. And also create your profile to attract what you want on that app. So take our advice about the different types of apps. So yes, if you're going to be on Hinge, do talk about your goals, do talk about what you want, do talk about progression. Yeah, you could be a little bit more flirty in your pic. Don't get like reported out here, you know, because there's certain pictures and content you can't put out there. But yeah, you can lean into your sexuality a bit more on Tinder if that's what you're looking for. Like, you know, show pictures of you looking cute. Show pictures if you're someone that likes to change your hair. Pick and choose a picture that shows you like maybe on holiday, when you've got your hair looking a little bit different, and then maybe another picture where you got your hair looking cute some in another style. Like, show the versatility that represents you. Yeah.
And don't use too many filters. It's a red flag.
Is it?
Yeah, filters are a red flag.
Oh,
It's catfish central. Like, if she's got all filters, like, man,
Yeah.
them, if it means it's gonna be a catfish when you see her. Yeah, she ain't gonna be looking like how her pictures are presented.
Yeah.
Like,
And
filters should come like once every 4 pictures.
Yeah, and I like photos. Speaking about photo style and formats, I like photos where you can see a little bit of their life in the background.
Yeah.
So you can see a little bit of their room, or maybe if it's like a toilet at work, you can see, okay, they work somewhere. If it's just a plain background, or like one of those studio model shots, I'm a bit wary of those.
Yeah, I like natural pictures as well. Like, where you're naturally doing something, not like where it's like you found the best lighting, and or you've gone out and you're all dressed up and made up, because people don't look like that every day.
Yeah.
So when you're presenting your best pictures, you're gonna attract a guy that's only gonna want to really see you in a going out kind of. Once in your natural mode, he's not really gonna be on it like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's not really gonna attract like a partner. It's like a one night type person.
And if you are looking, like we were saying, for fun, I think if you're looking more for fun, keep your profile description short and direct. If you're looking for something more serious, go into detail a little bit about certain things that will spark questions. So if in your profile you're talking about, say you're like from another country, you've just moved to London, or you just moved to a new place, you know, talk a little bit about why it is you moved and what your motivations are, things that will like spark conversation. Maybe then the natural question would be around, okay, what have you experienced and tried? What have you yet to try since you've been here? You know, if you've listed as something as your hobby is reading, maybe your description then say, you know, my favorite book is X. That might spark conversation. I think it makes it easier to spark conversation if you already give some details.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, care as much time as you take looking through photos and putting your best foot forward in that regard. I think definitely the profile descriptions, because what's gonna set you apart when you're looking for someone more serious is the people who've taken the time to read through your descriptions and read through your comments. I think that's gonna make you think, oh, you know, they saw that I've got 4 brothers and they took the time to read that, you know, the eldest 2 are twins. Some little things like that. Like, I think it shows the ones that care a little bit more.
Yeah, so take note of that. Like, always, someone has paid attention to your profile, because they're more serious than someone else that's just seeing your picture and they're swiping. They're playing a numbers game.
Yeah, like if you're in a picture with somebody that looks similar to you, and then a person that you like says, "Oh, is that your sister? Is that your like?" They're interested in not just, "Oh, you look pretty there."
Yeah.
You know.
What's your advice for a young woman that's gonna meet up with a stranger off the internet or off a dating app? This could be anyone, and like it's treacherous times now out here. Like, you don't know what type of person you're meeting up with. Like, what kind of time frame? Are you the type to meet up straight away, or are you the type to take your time? Because there's people out here that don't really want to meet up straight away. They're like, yeah, we gotta do 3 months on the phone. Like 3 months phone calls, FaceTime relationship before things get serious.
Yeah.
So what's your take on
My answer to this is a little obscure, but I think if you can go with it, then yeah, you'll be rewarded. I like to create meetups that mimic how you would meet someone naturally. So instead of meeting up to go to the cinema for an appointed time and sit in a room with loads of strangers and watch a film, I would rather meet you maybe 45 minutes before at a train station. Then we walk to the cinema together and have natural conversation as we're walking and talking. We might want to stop and get a coffee. Anything that's going to encourage movement, You know, even if it's something like you meet up, you see him walking towards you, not what you expected, you can kind of get away with saying, "Oh, I don't, you know what I expected." You're leaving yourself with a little bit more wiggle room to get out of it. And I like to see how people stand, how they walk. I think it's really important to see how people carry themselves, because when you just meet at a restaurant or you meet in a space where you can't get out, it's so very fixed, and I don't think that's very natural. I think one of the things about when you meet someone for the first time naturally, because I've met people at a club and I've fallen for that person. I've been like, I really like that guy, you know, or someone might even say like, oh, that person's beautiful. The reason why I think that's such an attractive feature is because you see them naturally. And when you try to manufacture a situation where you go for a dinner, you go for an appointed time, and it's like you're trying to make it too rigid. So I like meeting up at places like outdoor markets, like for example Liverpool Street, Spitalfields Market, going getting a coffee, then maybe wandering to a food stall, then maybe going to the cinema, not just meeting at the cinema for 7:45. That's what I'm saying. Also letting your friends know, but I'm cute with it. Like I tell my friends, you know, I'll send you a lemon if it's going well, and I'll send you, I don't know, something else if it's not going well. And they know, okay, if I drop the, what was it that I would drop in the, I've forgotten actually what the emoji was, but I would drop a certain emoji, and because it's so long to say it's not going well, not enjoying it, that's long. I just need to drop a symbol, and you know, if it's that symbol, then call me.
So that's an important one. You've got to make sure, like, a lot of women need to let their friends know like what they're doing. Like, let them know you're meeting someone online. Don't think it's taboo that you can't let your friends know, or just someone that's just got your back, because even though they have to be your friend, like family, just make sure they know, so that you don't mysteriously go missing and they don't know
and
what,
not
what
even
you're
just
up to.
that. I think I would take it a step further. Have one friend or a family, or even a flatmate that knows where you are, that can call you in a situation, but then have someone else, it could be the same person, that is willing to come and meet you. Because I think it's not just important to have a call. Sometimes you need someone to actually show up and be like, oh, you know, as I said, this isn't really going well. My friend's here. I'm going to go with them now. Like, I'm sure you can understand, dating online is different to, you know, and that's why I say do it after like 7 days, because then you're not too invested. Like, oh, I've been talking to you for 4 months and now you want to act like I'm not the person I've represented myself as, you know. Don't get in too deep. Like, meet them to get what, you know, to understand what they're like. If they have an obnoxiously strong cologne or perfume, or just something about them just gives you the ick, you want to know that earlier. Like, you want to know that sooner than later. I think the earlier the better.
Yeah, that's true, because you don't want to invest 6 months falling in love with someone that's over the phone. Have a phone crush.
Or
and
if
then
you're out there dating, dating, you want to know, okay, my number is 6 people. I want to kind of get that down to 3, because eventually I might want to be serious about one of them. So let me just get rid of the half that are just wasting my time, or that I'm not.
So do you think it's better to multiple date or one at a time?
I think initially, when you're talking about the first like 3 months of dating, multi-date I think is better, especially in the talking stage. Yeah, definitely multi-date. It's not something that's always easy to do, because the options are very slim out there. Some people annoy you.
I'm a bit of a red flag if she's multiple dating type of guy. Yeah, I like a woman that likes to focus on one thing at a time. But that's like, everyone likes different things. Like, you can't, I understand like why a person would not put all their eggs in one basket, because like,
especially when it's online. If you're meeting someone, if I've met you on the train and you've come over to me and you say, oh, you look really beautiful, I know that sounds so cheesy, and then we laugh and we both walk to the same station. I'm not really going to have that kind of cosmic connection like that with someone else just like that. But meeting online, it's just swipe, 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 like swipe, 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 like that's very vacuous until we get the chemistry going. Once the chemistry's there, it's going to be harder to build and maintain that chemistry, I think, with multiple people. If you're able to like be like, oh, I love this person, yeah, he's my everything, but then this other one, I really like, he'll give me everything I want. Like, people who are really invested in more than one, I also think that's, I don't know how they do it, but yeah, that's also possible. I don't want to judge, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, so yeah, take some notes from that.
Yeah, definitely.
And
let someone know where you are.
yeah, I think
Someone
that's the
that
key,
can call
that's the key
you.
point.
Also, what I like to do as well, again, a bit rogue, but I like to tell that person, like, you know, just to be transparent, can we like have a video call? Just so if there's any immediate things where your picture doesn't match your face, I'm seeing that first before we meet up. And also it saves you the embarrassment of someone who ghosts or catfishes, because if you don't want to show your face on camera, why am I driving all this way to come and meet you? You know?
Yeah, that's another red flag. If they're not willing to go on FaceTime, that's a red flag. Like, immediate. Like, don't trust them when they're saying, yeah, I don't really do that. Even though I don't do the FaceTime thing. That's one of my sayings.
Yeah, but if we've got a date,
I would still
if we've got
do
a
it.
date on Sunday and Friday night I try to FaceTime you and you're declining it, you know, I've called you 3 times and every time you're not even giving me an excuse, I would be a little suspicious. I would be a little suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, moving on. I wanted to go into another topic. It's
Okay.
similar to this. It's still the same lines of dating. But it's like, so this is a saying that the Gems came up with that I liked. So I wanted to deep dive into it a bit more. It's like
Okay, I
the
don't even
begrudging
know.
consent.
Oh wow, we're taking a little.
Yeah, because it's like
We're
now
getting
you've-
into a new
you've-
lane.
Yeah, because you've met up
Okay,
now. You've met
alright.
up now, and everything's going all right. Are you obliged to now go all the way? And some people might feel that they are, that because everything's going right and everything's nice, do I need to like? Because someone might think, oh, this is a bit too soon, but I might ruin my chances. Like, I really like this guy, but I don't want to really seem like I'm being long.
Yeah, so a friend of mine who's a trained, like, she's into psychology and all of that, she told me about not this begrudged consent, but this other dynamic which is called like consented surrender. And it happens a lot with our parents, where they'll ask loads of things from you and you just feel like you have to give in.
Yeah.
So sometimes this notion, depending on how strong-willed you are, some people will have like a weaker or a stronger ability to say no. So say if you're someone who generally is quite weak with saying no and you naturally surrender to things, if someone, it depends on the guy or even the woman, or if you're in like a same-sex situation, like whoever is more concentrated on sex is usually going to make that clear very early. And that's then when you need to make it clear, actually, these are, again, my hard lines. So it might be a case where you kind of need to take the lead a bit if that's what you want as well. So if someone's always leaning in to kiss you and you're enjoying it, I would make it a point to kind of, I don't mind and I don't feel it's emasculating or anything to lean in and kiss someone that I'm into, because I also really want to show that I'm willing for this to go further. So I'm not just going to be this beautiful muse that you have to lean in and kiss, you have to grab, you have to hold my hand. If I like those things, I'm going to reach for you and initiate is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if now let's take it to the perspective of someone who is very clear that they want to have sex, clear that they want to take this relationship into a more physical state. If that person isn't doing the initiation, if I'm just pushing it on them, I think we also need to be accountable for that as well.
Yeah.
To realize, actually, you know, I keep moving to this person, but they don't really do the same back. They're not really inviting me in. It's like I'm trying to push my affection onto them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we need to be aware of those things before we even get to the physical. It's more the attitude. You know, touching. If I hold the door for you and I put my hand on the small of your back and then you kind of wiggle out of it, that's telling me, you know, there's a physical barrier there. I've done I've kind of gone in too much too soon.
Yeah.
But if you kind of lean into it, or maybe when another situation comes up, you do the same, you mirror my behavior, then I think, okay, yeah, like we're onto the same page. It's about the physical chemistry. It's not just
But
about.
I think when with that, men are more willing to be resistant but still go all the way. Like it's not like they will still go all the way and then not really think, oh, okay, like they will not want it but still do it.
I
And
think,
then afterwards they're not really
yeah.
gonna feel bad about it. They're just gonna be
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, whatever. But like with a woman, it can turn into a lot of things after. So the begrudging consent can become like coercion, can become he's forced himself on me and things like that. It can become like there's a lot of grey area.
But remember,
in
with
there.
this in this dynamic we're talking about, they've met online.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot you need to do to build chemistry and trust, because you really have met this person on paper. So I think the physical language has to work its way up gradually. And if you're getting resistance from someone, I personally don't. And you know, my advice is don't just take that as gospel. You know, really talk to them about it. Really like test the waters and go easy, because you don't know.
Yeah, and society over the years has created mixed messages about to keep trying. Like don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Like and it also like tells the woman, don't be easy. Have a little bit of resistance. Don't like
Make
just
him play hard to get.
play hard to get work for make him work for it.
Yeah.
So that can kind of
Yeah,
blur
make
the
him
lines.
work for it, but what are you working for? You know, because if you're someone who's cheeky enough to be like, well, you know, we'll see. What is that we'll see? Is that genuinely you want to go there, or you just want it to move like go from like holding hands to kissing to making out?
But I don't know, some people have their rules. They have their 90-day rule. But some people's not willing to.
Do you not think that comes up early though in conversation?
Yeah,
like,
some people's like, oh, she's just saying that, but like, yeah, I'm still gonna go and I'm still gonna try.
Wow.
So should a man have the respect to respect her rules that she's set in place, or is it his duty to try and like break down that barrier and be like, oh yeah, she said
I think
90 days,
if it's
let me just
anyone's
try.
rules, you should, like, if someone said, if I met someone and at the time I met them, they're like, yeah, I'm doing this whole health thing, you know, I'm not eating carbs because I'm doing builds and gains for gym, and I'm not eating carbs for 90 days. I wouldn't be like, oh, let me try and push the boundary and test the water, see if I can.
Some people do though. They invite you out. They invite you out to those places, and then it's just they'll be like, yeah, let's go out to eat, and then you'll be like, this girl doesn't listen. I told her that I'm on this diet.
Yeah.
And she's telling me, when are we going out to eat at a restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I wouldn't push the I wouldn't push the boundaries, and I don't think
or some people like when you do tell them certain things about you, they're just like, they're not trying to hear it. They're just like, oh yeah, he's into that. But then they're still like, yeah, I don't drink alcohol. Yeah, let's go out for a drink on Friday. So
I wonder how I would feel then if I had a 90-day rule and then someone said, okay, well, I'm multi-dating, so do you mind if I sleep with somebody else while I'm getting to know you? Because obviously you've got this 90-day rule.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting what people do.
Because I think if I really like someone, knowing that, okay, they're also getting to know other people in a physical sense, but then I've got this rule which I'm only imposing so that we can become closer and you're getting close, air quotes, with someone else, I would probably just lock it off, because sex is clearly at your top priority and we're not compatible in how we see sex. So I would cut it off. And if someone is infringing on your rules and your hard lines, then yeah, it probably shows a clear sign of incompatibility, lack of compromise, and the kind of desire to change you, which sounds like a small thing, but that could creep into like bigger problems in the future, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, leave a comment in the comments below. Like, leave a comment. What would you do if you're dating someone and they have a 90-day rule, and they ask to sleep if they can sleep with other people? Are you gonna let them? Yeah.
Because how sure are you that sleeping with someone else is gonna stop at day 90? Do you know what I mean? Like,
it might do.
because say day 90 comes around and you're still not on it,
Yeah.
am I still gonna lock off this other person?
Yeah, you just gotta make sure that you're
like, I thought you said 95.
you gotta work your magic out on day 90. Gotta make sure they're under your spell. Whip them under your spell.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you've got that 90-day rule, make sure that whatever you've got is the magic. Yeah, make sure it's hypnotizing. Because if it's nothing special, then he's just like, what I've waited 90 days for this. Let me go back to one of my other ones that I was seeing during the 90 days.
No, but I don't think the people out there doing 90 days is because they've got like, you know, they're this kind of overly impressive, and the pressure shouldn't be on them to wow you sexually. It's not about the sex, actually. It's about the emotional connection once the sex happens.
I think at the beginning, for both male and female, the sex plays an important part as to whether they're gonna try and sustain what they have or build on it. But I think initially, like when people want to get together, like they think about, the future, I want someone, like even if you're serious, once you meet the person, if you're not really satisfied after the first or second time, like maybe you'll just be like, oh yeah, I kind of overestimated what I wanted out of this. Like, I don't think I can do this forever. So I think it plays an important part at the beginning, unless you both don't really value your sexual relationship like that highly. Like, because there are some people that, when it comes to a relationship, they more want, can you offer stability? What kind of stability can you offer?
Yeah.
So it just depends, like, where you place your sexual relationship within your relationship, how valuable it is.
Yeah. And what you said before about like the, consenting but begrudgingly because you think that's what's expected of you, like this person has taken you out, spent lots of money on you, maybe if they're older, you've told your friends about them, everyone wouldn't really assume that things went out of hand because maybe you've said, oh, I want to sleep with him, but then that night comes and you're not in the mood, or you're not really ready and willing on the day.
Yeah.
Even though all the signs have been pointing to that, even though, that's kind of what you've been telling everyone, you've been preparing yourself for, even though your mind can still change. You can still, that's the whole point of consent. You can withdraw it at any time. Who's at fault for the
begrudging consent? Like, who do, like, so...
But I think people should withdraw it if they don't, if your gut feeling is telling you this isn't right. Like, you should never be so in a jam that you can't come out of it. Yeah,
maybe some people don't have the I don't know, they've just gone too far, they're in too deep.
Yeah, but it's that surrendering that we learn. We pick up through childhood, we pick it up in life.
Yeah, I think we've always got to be able to say no, but it's easier said than done. Like, for me, I don't really understand the begrudging consent thing, so I was hoping that like people could shine a light on how do you end up in a begrudgingly consenting position.
I've had a kind of an example. So I was around this guy's place and I liked him and I think I wanted to take things further, but then he lit a cigarette.
Oh. And
it gave me the ick. And yeah, it's like everything up to that point. When someone invites you up for a nightcap, you think it's going that way, and then he smoked out the window and tried to bat the smoke away and stuff, but yeah, it didn't really, it turned me off.
Yeah. So
at that moment, I could have consented because all the signs were going there. Why else would you come up after a date? Like, I shaved my legs, for fuck's sake. Like, I wanted it to go that way. But
you didn't consent. No.
But I'm saying I could have in that situation because I had wanted to before. What ended up happening was, I think we had some tea, and then after a while the smell kind of went away, and then I gave in. But at that moment before, that consent can be applied and withdrawn at any time. And
but then was it begrudging consent?
No, but I'm giving an example of how at a moment you could want something, but you can switch to not want it.
Yeah. But I think begrudging means you feel that you're obliged because of what's taken place to have sex.
Yeah, well that I don't have an example for.
So like you're in your head, you're feeling, oh, he took me out, he paid for everything, I don't like him like that, but he's such a nice guy, like.
Yeah, I've had that situation, but I've never given in. So I'm not the best person to talk to you about the begrudging, like giving in and the surrendering.
Yeah,
because I've had people kiss me and say like, oh, but you're going back, you're flying out tomorrow, I'm never gonna see you again. They try to guilt trip you, and I'm like, that's not really doing it for me. Like, guilt trip isn't getting me wet.
Like, but it's not really them guilt tripping.
It is like, why are you bringing up the fact that I'm flying out
tomorrow?
No,
I mean like you, like if it's if you're in a situation of like where you can't say no, like it's not really them, because they've done what they think will get them what they want.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to say no, but you feel that you're obliged to not say no. So that's not really on the other person, it's really on you.
Yeah, part of it's on you, but the other part is, have I done it?
Yeah, because they would blame the man. They would be like, oh yeah, the man's put pressure on her. That's why it's happened. And like, because they're leaning towards everything that a man has done in trying to court a woman, they're now trying to make it a problem.
Mm.
So they're letting women know, yeah, you can withdraw consent at any time. Don't ever feel like, even if it's midway through and you're not feeling it, just withdraw it. Like on paper, that sounds like something that's possible to do, but in reality, in theory, how do you get that far and then withdraw the consent? It's like in someone's head who doesn't want conflict, they might just be like, yeah, it's just got to end now.
I think you just have to be willing and ready for any because I've had to withdraw consent because maybe someone doesn't want to use a condom, and they're saying, oh, we've gotten this far, like we're both in the mood, we've been lip-syncing for ages, like I've bought you this, I bought you that. Like, yeah, in those situations I definitely could have felt like I could surrender, but I just didn't. And I was willing to be hit in the face, I was willing to be like kicked out, and I'm very, very, I always say, like, I'm very lucky that situation and didn't end negatively. And I guess it's a bit of a warning for anyone who has been in a situation like that and it hasn't ended the way they wanted. It's very scary. You have to be very brave because it can go any way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've had people literally on top of me that have wanted to go ahead, and it's like, well, I'm not doing this without a condom because I've met you online and I don't know you like that, so I guess it's a no. And that's that.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that in that situation, like, a woman's got to be able to, like, stick to her morals because that's your health.
Yeah, I just wish, had I had a condom, it would have been a different story, but at least I have the tale to tell, like, you can withdraw at any time.
Oh, was the guy from South London? Why he didn't have a condom?
I don't know.
You don't know where he's from.
Oh, as in originally?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know where it's from, but I just don't want to bait it out.
Oh, okay.
Out here, yeah.
Fair enough.
Have you had someone withdraw consent last minute or midway?
Oh yeah, I've always when someone withdraws consent, I withdraw. Like, to me, no consent is a turn off. Like, there's nothing that arouses me about someone not being interested or someone feeling like, they don't want to have sex. Like, that just doesn't turn me on.
Can you give any specific examples? The way I was very specific.
Yeah, it's like if you're getting down, lips in, everything's going where it's going now. You're taking each other's clothes off, and then she's like, I don't want to do this. Like, to me, that's a mood kill.
Has it ever been non-verbal? Has it ever been like a pushing a hand away?
Never been, there might be a pushing. Yeah, there's like resistance. There'll be resistance. If I feel any resistance, then it's that's like a turn off. Like no consent is a turn off. Like, nothing turns me on more than consent. So if the green light is there, I'm turned on. If the red light is there,
What about if it's an amber light?
I'm zipping up my trousers and I'm sitting in my corner and I'm just I'm cool with myself.
What about if it's a 90-day rule, or if someone has certain criteria?
Yeah, 90-day rules is fine with me because I don't really view women as sex objects. So a 90-day rule gives me 90 days to find out the type of person that, like, I like to find out a person deeper. Like, there's more to a person than just trying to get sex off them. Like, I like to find out about their life, the type of person that they are, and things like that. So I'm like not your average basic type person. Like, I'm gonna ask personal questions. I'm gonna delve deep into a person's life and see what they're like. Type of character, add it to the logician's notebook. Put them in.
Yeah, but for people who don't know what that means, what is a logician? Like, what do you mean by that? And
yeah, so everyone's a type of person, and they say that there's like 12 types of people. Like, they always kind of round it up to like there's 12 types of personalities and characters out there, and so you ask questions about how a person's life has gone, and usually it ends up how a person's life's gone. They become a certain character, and that's usually how it goes.
yeah, so mine is a diplomat. That's what I've been described as, diplomatic, a diplomat, and then yours is logician, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so usually there's things that happen in life that make people become, and like usually you can go into like numerology, astrology, you can go into a person's id, like how they just, there's a lot of things you can go into to find out how they are that person that they are, and how they've grown up to become that person. So, and it takes time to find that out. So 90 days is plenty of time to find that out. Yeah.
You don't have to answer, but have you ever had someone, when you're on a date, they've made a call and had to end the date abruptly? You know, like how we were talking about getting out of a situation. Have you had someone hit the reverse on you and rearranged? And
I'm not sure, because I'm usually the one that is trying to get out, because I know instantly. Once I've met someone, I know instantly.
the energy's off.
Not even that, I'm just not feeling it. So I know instantly. I'm not really one of those guys that's like, oh, I've been catfished, or this person will like their pictures.
But what if they're not
this
feeling
person.
it? Would you sense that too? Like if you're not what they expected?
Yeah, you know, because you know when someone likes you. So you know when you've met someone and this person's like, oh, they're not really into me. Like the chemistry on that you've had over the phone is not the same in real life, because it means that they're kind of disappointed. That can even happen from being on a dating app and then getting onto WhatsApp, that the energy can change. Like, you can be on a dating app and then you've got your like 3 or 4 pictures on there. Then they might start seeing what you really look like in real life, and then the energy changes. They're like, or they'd be like, yeah, send me a picture of you just looking normal, and then you send it, and then the energy changes. The replies are not as fast as they were before. So yeah, like,
so you drop something in conversation, like you say, oh, I live with my sister, and then it's just like, oh, okay, the energy's different now.
But yeah, so you can usually tell as a man, but some men, they try to ignore that. Even some women, they try to ignore when the energy's off. They still try to fight it. But me, as soon as I can sense something's off, like the replies are not as crisp and as swift as they used to be, I'm just like, yeah, nah, let me move on. I ain't trying to force nothing out here. I'm not a forceful person.
Yeah, and I guess that's a logician's trait. Like, you pick up on patterns, so it's easier to see when the pattern is being
that's true, actually.
changed.
Yeah, because not everyone's a logician like me, so they're just waiting for that green light, however it comes. So yeah, whereas I'm just like, okay, it's off now. I'm not forcing nothing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, so yeah, let's move on to affirmations of the day and quote of the day. So my quote of the day is, the sea's never empty. And I wanted to use that. That is one of the sayings that I heard on my travels to West Africa. Yeah, they would always say, yeah, the sea never empty. The sea's never empty. It means that there's opportunity always out there. Don't ever feel that you're trapped in a situation. So I thought this will go with this. You haven't got options. Don't feel that, oh, okay, this is all I'm getting on this app. It's all these mad women. Don't feel obliged that you have to date a mad woman. Don't feel obliged that you have to date a sex pest, because the sea's never empty.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
So that's my quote of the day. Yeah,
Mm.
is that the sea is never empty. So Gems is gonna give us our affirmation of the day.
Oh, I think a good affirmation for today would be just to take some time for yourself where you're just thinking about your whole body. So maybe like doing a head to toe, like mindfulness body scan. So where you're aware of the top of your head, right down to your body, right down to your legs, right down to your toes, and back up again, like a full body scan. Like just take time to meditate on yourself and your body.
Well, yeah, say it 3 times. Take time to meditate on yourself.
Yeah.
Take time to meditate on yourself. Take time to meditate on yourself. That's another episode of Aries and Gems. Tune in again next time. We've got a lot of interesting topics coming.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what we talk about next.
Yeah.
I know you'll pick something good.
No, you're picking next time.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
but you're picking from my choices.
Yeah. No, you're picking out of your choices.
Oh dear. I'll put them in a hat.
Yeah,
and
you
we'll
do.
pick one out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a better option. So yeah, we'll pick a random topic out of a hat next time. So yeah, tune in next time, Aries and Gems.
Bye.